Welcome back to Opinion Journal Live. Well, the Nobel Peace Prize was awarded to the European Union. Here to discuss that with me is our foreign affairs columnist, Bret Stephens. How you doing, Bret?
Not bad.
Bret, here I'm going to read the committee's citation, the reason for the prize. They said the Union and its forerunners have over 6 decades contributed to the advancement of peace and reconciliation, democracy, and human rights in Europe. Good prize?
Well, let's put it this way. The Nobel Peace Prize, unlike the other Nobel Prizes, is awarded by the Norwegian Nobel Committee. Now, Norway is an interesting country because, along with Switzerland and maybe Serbia, a few other countries, it's one of the few countries that actually is not a member of the European Union. The matter was put to a referendum on more than one occasion, I think 2 occasions, to the Norwegian people, and by narrow margins, they decided, thank you very much, but we're better off being outside this particular union. So that's one point I think that people ought to bear in mind. Secondly, it's absolutely, in a sense, right and fair that what began as a coal and steel community, then became the economic community, and finally is now the European Union, has accomplished something important and significant. Europe used to be a place of world wars, the 30 Years' War, the 100 Years' War, and so on. And that's no longer happening. But to the extent that that is due to the European Union, as opposed to, say, American victory or Allied victory in World War II, that's a more interesting debate.
You know, I was noticing, Bret, and this is kind of interesting, that one of the reasons Alfred Nobel gave in his will for the prize was, quote, for the abolition of standing armies.
Right.
Well, it is certainly the case that to a great extent they have abolished standing armies. Now, you mentioned Serbia. It is nonetheless true that, you know, we go back to the war in the Balkans when Milosevic was attacking in Kosovo and Herzegovina. This was virtually a genocide taking place on the soil of Europe. And it wasn't until the United States and its armies intervened to stop that.
Yeah, it's a memory of mine. In 1992, the European foreign minister who was then representing the entire Union was a guy by the name of Jacques Poos, P-O-O-S, if you can believe it, from Luxembourg, I think. And he went to the Balkans and he said, the hour of Europe has arrived. And then you had Srebrenica, tens of thousands of people being killed, and it was only until Bill Clinton finally stood up and said, we can't allow this to happen, that the Balkan situation was finally resolved peacefully. You know, one thing to bear in mind is that the Nobel Peace Prize has gone frequently to a collection of non-entities, people whose names you can't remember, often to a collection of rogues, Yasser Arafat, Rigoberta Menchu, and then lately it's gone to kind of figures who sort of represent an opposition in some way or another to the United States, including Americans like Jimmy Carter. However, I think this is the first time, as far as I can remember, that it's actually been given to a political entity, not just an organization. I think their next winner should be the state of Vermont.